following the devastating explosion in Beirut yesterday, just 25 hours ago. I'm now joined live from Beirut by former Prime Minister Fouad Siniora. Mr. Siniora, thank you very much for joining us here on aNews.
Thank you.
Can I give our condolences to the people of Beirut at this time. It must be a traumatic time that the city is going through right now.
Yes.
I believe that you were in Beirut yesterday. How did you experience the explosion?
Well, in the first seconds, I thought that this is an earthquake, because I was probably about two kilometers or 2.5 kilometers away from the center of the explosion. In spite of that, we felt the whole building is moving and shaking. And all the glasses in my building and in most buildings of Beirut have been smashed. Right. Because such an explosion is probably considered one of the three most destructive explosions ever took place in the world, probably. And this is something that we resulted with now over 100 casualties and definitely much more than 4,000 injured. But I can really say that more than a few 100,000 people who have been suffering because of the losses that they incurred in terms of the destruction, the major destruction that has taken place in that regard. So that's the problem that we have seen in such a situation. Yes.
We've been watching since just after news of the explosion first broke yesterday evening, and we're astonished to see the devastation that's been caused there. And we've been hearing of the traumatic reports that have come from the city. So obviously there are many different aspects here. There's the humanitarian consequences, there's the economic consequences, the infrastructure consequences. What for you is, at this moment, is the priority for Beirut? Well,
actually, first of all, I mean, it has to go. Things has to go in different directions, or along the different courses of movement. But first of all, we just finished our meeting as the former 4 prime ministers of Lebanon. Is that we have called for the formation of a commission, either by the Security Council of the United Nations, of the Security Council, or from the Arab League, to investigate such an explosion, because this is something that has left Beirut, as somebody named it, Beirut Shima, as if it is Hiroshima. With the extent of destruction that has taken place, that is something that is unheard of. And that's why this is something that has to really happen in the first place. Simultaneously, is that we are calling for more unity among the Lebanese, and asking that the support has to really come from the Lebanese for forming one unity in order to help in the reconstruction of what has taken place, and calling for our brothers in all the Arab countries, as well as among our friends all over the world, to help Lebanon. The problem that we are suffering from comes following a series of hardships that we have went through because of a great deal of intransigence among the various governments not to carry on the reform that Lebanon needs badly, and at the same time with the problems that we have suffered because of the problems that we have experienced because of the domination of Hezbollah in Lebanon, regarding our relationship with our brotherly countries, the Arab countries, as well as the problem with the relationship with lots of our friends around the world. So this has created a great deal of imbalance within Lebanon, as well with our relationship with our brothers and friends. So this has accumulated more severe setbacks in Lebanon that resulted in a loss or in erosion of confidence in the state and the government and the president. And at the same time, in this erosion of confidence in the president as in the government did not only happen in Lebanon, but among all our brotherly countries and our, let's say, friends around the world. So what's happening now is that we have in addition to the trauma of the COVID-19, we have seen this problem that has resulted yesterday with this great devastation. So it is very important that our friends and our brotherly countries to stand with Lebanon, and there is a lot that is needed in this regard in order to really do the help that is required by thousands and thousands of people who have suffered because of this loss. There are more than 50,000 people that they cannot really stay in their homes because this has been completely destructed. Mm-hmm. And more actually of these problems. So this is what we stand for, is that we have to move along several lines. First of all, the investigation. Secondly, regarding assembling all the efforts that are needed, and at the same time calling for the support that can be extended to Lebanon by our brotherly countries as well as by our friends around the world. In this regard, I would like to express our great gratitude for the support that has been extended, and Mr. Erdogan, President Erdogan, has expressed in order to help Lebanon, and this is something that we have experienced before. His generosity as well as in help when he stood behind Lebanon during the invasion of Israel to Lebanon in 2006, and here he stands for the same thing, and I greatly appreciate this support. And all the Lebanese, they really would like to express their appreciation and gratitude for the support of Turkey to Lebanon.
Indeed, as a leader, he's a great believer that actions speak louder than words, and I'm sure that whatever Turkey can do for Lebanon, that will be done. Now, okay, so we've talking about the intensive care that the international community needs to give to Lebanon. That's I saw you quoted as saying that, using that phrase, intensive care is needed earlier. But
yeah.
What is the legal situation in Beirut now? The authorities have declared Beirut a disaster city and imposed a state of emergency. So, to whom is who's responsible now for the immediate recovery and initial reconstruction steps?
Well, actually, it's still the government of Lebanon, but at the same time, because of the situation as a whole, and in order to assure security, they have called for this emergency situation. And definitely now, as according to the law, it is the Lebanese army, under which comes the role that can be played by the internal security, by the Sûreté Générale, and by all the forces and the customs and everything. So they all will cooperate under the let's say the leadership of the Lebanese army. And this is it has been declared the state of emergency for a period of 2 weeks, during which actually it's important at this time to let the Lebanese army take that role. But let's say it remains that the Lebanese government, according to the constitution, is the one that is in charge.
Now, we're very, very much aware of the difficulties that people in Lebanon are already experiencing economically, and that was impacted furthermore by the coronavirus crisis, and now this devastating explosion leaving another 300,000 homeless. You've referred to food security crisis being a paramount importance at this time. Is that the case, or what needs to be done there?
One has to take in consideration, first of all, that the silos for wheat and other types of grains has been fully destroyed. This is one, which means that the ability for let's say supply the country probably does not exceed more than 1 month, and this requires that we should have more supplies very soon. And at the same time, most of the, let's say, imported materials, whether it is food items or non-food items, are stored normally at the Beirut port. So this has been fully destroyed. Mm-hmm. So I mean, will find lots of things that are practically missing, and this definitely requires immediate action in order to provide Lebanon with lots of things. There has been a problem regarding, let's say, finding beds in hospitals, because all of a sudden you've added more than 4,000 injured people mm-hmm. to already a strained medical system after the corona. So this is something that one has to take in consideration, together actually with certain medicines and so on. This is something really very big and tremendous, and that's why we need our friends and our brother countries to stand by Lebanon and to really extend the necessary support. This is something that cannot wait, and we definitely are seeing lots of countries expressing their support to Lebanon. We have heard that the President of France, Mr. Macron, is coming to Lebanon probably tomorrow. Other countries may redelegate some people. Mm-hmm. Secretary General of the Arab League might be coming. On Saturday. So people are coming and expressing their support to Lebanon. I hope that this really we try to really try to start solving some of the pressing problems that we will be experiencing in the coming days.
And indeed, these first few days after the confusion of the explosion yesterday and the immediate aftermath, with people just trying to save their lives. Yeah. There are so many question marks remaining, though, are there not, Mr. Siniora? The investigation can only be just beginning to start, but many questions about how this event was able to happen. I believe it's now an official statement that there was a nitrate stored in the ports there. So what sort of questions need to be answered?
Exactly. And that's why exactly we are asking for the formation of a special commission, either formed by the Security Council or formed by the Arab League, because those who have been under their nose, such storage has been going on, they cannot be really trusted that they will carry on the necessary investigation in a just and independent manner. That's why we are asking for the formation of a special commission for that. And this is in response of the expressions that are made by plenty of people in the street. They are asking for an independent. This is something that we have experienced before after the assassination of the Prime Minister Hariri in 2006. And we called for the formation of a special commission to investigate, and lately, and after that, the formation of the special tribunal for Lebanon. So that was the thing that really made us ask this time that something of this sort has to be formed, either under the Security Council or under the sponsorship of the Arab League.
Just one final question I'd like to ask you. Obviously, your heart is part of Beirut. Beirut is part of your heart. You built the city in the past. The total devastation has wiped out many businesses. I read 90% of hotels have been destroyed or damaged after this explosion. I'm sure that the many other aspects of the economy have also been wiped out. What hope do you have for the city, even at this early time?
Well, there you always people who used to describe Lebanon as a bowl of squash. The harder you hit, the harder it springs back. Definitely, Lebanon has been suffering a great deal over the past years. And definitely the city of Beirut has been suffering tremendously over the past 4 decades. By all means, in terms of invasions, in terms of the role that was the civil war, or the role that was played by the various militias in Lebanon, and the efforts that were made by so many people in order to destruct Beirut and so. Nevertheless, I think the will of life and the determination of the Lebanese definitely is going to help. Definitely, but at the same time, this cannot happen without the support of our brotherly countries and our friends around the world. And definitely, this cannot happen if there is a continued intransigence among the Lebanese governments not to carry on the necessary reforms that are highly needed in dealing with our let's say economy, our fiscal situation, our monetary situation, our the various economic sectors. There is a real need to carry on reform so that Lebanese economy can really stand back again on its feet. Otherwise, if there is no, let's say, the combination of all these factors, this cannot happen. I am fully determined that we have to stay the course and try to stand up together in order to rebuild back not only the Beirut destruction, but at the same time the Lebanese economy, and at the same time we have to stand along, let's say, with our Arab countries, as well as with our friendly countries. And in this regard, definitely I count a great deal on the role that can be played by Turkey.
Turkey stands beside you. Thank you very much for joining us this evening on aNews. Fuad Siniora, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So that was the former Prime Minister, Fouad Siniora, the former Prime Minister of Lebanon, giving us his insight into the traumatic situation being experienced right now in Beirut and hopes for the future.